India. It's 5 p.m. across India. I am Tanvi Taneja. Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Global. We'll bring you the day's big stories from across India and the world. With me today from London is my colleague, Julia Chapman. Good afternoon, Julia.
Good afternoon, Tanvi. It's 11:30 a.m. in London and 12:30 p.m. across Central Europe. Coming up in the next 30 minutes, a major attack on Ukraine, another blow for Donald Trump, and extreme weather around the world. But first, the headlines.
Iran executes 4 people, including a woman accused of sabotage with links to Israel's intelligence service, Mossad. Russia launches air missiles on Ukraine, killing at least 12 and injuring dozens. Ukraine retaliates, downing 27 Russian drones and 87 cruise missiles. Maine becomes the second U.S. state after Colorado to bar Donald Trump from running for president in 2024 over his actions leading up to the U.S. Capitol riot in 2021. And countries across the globe witness extreme weather conditions, record low temperatures, heat waves, floods, bushfires witnessed. First news coming from West Asia. 4 people, including a woman, accused of being saboteurs with links to Israel's Mossad intelligence service, were executed in Iran on Friday. This brings the total number of executed to 5 this month, as Iran continues to accuse Israel of attacks on its nuclear effort, charges the latter has neither confirmed nor denied. The 4 executed on Friday were the principal convicts in a case that involved 10 offenders. However, it is unclear if the rest would also face execution. Britain, France and Germany and the United States on Thursday condemned Iran for accelerating its production of the highly enriched uranium following the IAEA report earlier this week. In a joint statement, the Western powers urged Iran to immediately reverse these steps and de-escalate its nuclear program. Now, Egypt has put forward a framework proposal to end the conflict between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. Chairman of Egypt's State Information Service in a statement said that the framework, which includes 3 successive and linked stages ending with a ceasefire, was drafted after Egypt listened to the views of all parties concerned with it. The statement further read, Egypt would give further details of the plan once those responses are received. DD India's Trent Murray reports from Tel Aviv.
One can hope, I suppose, that would certainly be for, diplomats hoping there could be a resolution here, that there could be a breakthrough, but it's very difficult to see. We understand there is a 3-part framework that's been put in place, effectively a 2-week ceasefire in order for hostages to be released, then a discussion about who governs Gaza after the conflict, and then thirdly, a complete end to the hostilities. Now, Hamas representatives have travelled to Cairo today to take part in the discussions. We don't have all of the details of the plan, but already some media in the Arab-speaking world is saying Hamas has rejected that plan. You'd also have to get Israel to sign on to it, which will be difficult given the divisions within the government here. I suppose going into 2024, one can be optimistic that at least the negotiations are taking place at Cairo, and also Doha is trying to find a path forward here. But right now, trying to get an agreement from all the different factions within Israel and Palestine seems very difficult. And so I think it will remain quite elusive to negotiate an entire humanitarian ceasefire for the people of Gaza.
Now, the ongoing Israel-Hamas conflict has led to devastation in Israel, with homes and buildings being destroyed due to the strikes by the Hamas terror group. To support in the reconstruction work, the Israeli government is seeking help from India to send construction workers there. North Indian state of Uttar Pradesh's government has unveiled an opportunity that is offering an employment opportunity with a monthly wage of 1.37 lakh rupees in Israel. The government has initiated an urgent call for construction workers to fill positions in the building construction projects located in Israel.
भारत सरकार की ओर से नेशनल स्किल डेवलपमेंट कॉरपोरेशन ने जो इजराइल में युद्ध के कारण विनाश हुआ है उसकी स्थिति सुधार करने के लिए लोगों को जो 4 तरह के इसमें बेसिकली रोजगार वाले लोग जाने हैं, लोगों में काफ़ी उत्साह है, बड़ी मात्रा में लोग आ रहे हैं, आवेदन कर रहे हैं। लगभग अब तक 300 लोग करीब आके इस बारे में पूछताछ कर चुके हैं और लगभग 100 लोगों ने अपने डॉक्यूमेंट के साथ आवेदन भी जमा कर दिया है।
Next, an update on the alleged blast near Israeli embassy in India's New Delhi on Tuesday. The police has so far interrogated over 10 people in the case. The hunt for the accused had initially led the police to as many as 12 people. However, any evidence of their involvement in the blast has not been specified yet. A man who boarded an auto rickshaw from Jamia Nagar metro station in New Delhi and couldn't speak Hindi properly is learned to be a suspect. Police officials said that the auto driver who dropped him near the embassy was also interrogated. The police are using facial recognition technology and are closely watching the CCTV footage installed nearby. Further details are awaited. India's External Affairs Minister Dr Shankar interacted with the governor of St. Petersburg in Russia, Alexander Beglov, in Moscow on Thursday. During his meeting, Shankar extended support to promote economic cooperation and people-to-people exchanges between India and Russia. Earlier on Thursday, the External Affairs Minister of India, Shankar, also interacted with prominent Indologists in St. Petersburg State University. He appreciated the initiatives and ideas proposed by the Indologists to deepen cooperation between the two countries. During the roundtable discussions with the Indologists, Dr Shankar talked about the time-tested India-Russian relations.
This interest today is particularly pertinent, it's particularly important because in today's world, a country like India and one like Russia, we are constantly trying to refresh our relationship, to deepen it, to find new linkages and common points.
Taking to social media platform X, India's Foreign Minister Dr Shankar shared a video of his visit to a school named after Rabindranath Tagor in St. Petersburg. Expressing happiness, the minister noted that Rabindranath's passion for India was truly touching.
बहुत अच्छा बोल रहे हैं। ये तो नमक कुछ देकर और खरीदनी इस क्षण से अब तो हमारा अच्छा दोस्त।
On to the Russia-Ukraine conflict now. Russia launched an air attack, a massive one, on Ukraine on Friday, days after Ukraine targeted a Russian warship. Ukraine said it repelled the attack with everything in its arsenal. My colleague Julia Chapman is in London and gives us more on this and other stories making headlines around the world. Julia, over to you now.
Thanks, Tanvi. At least 12 people have been killed and dozens more are injured in cities across Ukraine, including the capital, Kyiv. Officials say the country was targeted with drones and missiles launched by Russia overnight on Thursday. A warehouse and a high-rise building in Kyiv were severely damaged. Many people are still feared to be trapped under the debris, and damage is also being reported at a maternity hospital in central Ukraine. In a message on social media, President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russia fired nearly 110 missiles, 87 of which were shot down. The attacks occurred days after Ukraine targeted a Russian warship in the occupied Crimean port of Feodosia. In a blow to Donald Trump, another state has barred the former US president from its primary election ballot. The decision from Maine's top election official makes it the second state to block his bid for re-election so far. Colorado has also disqualified Trump from its primary ballot over his involvement in the January 6th riots at the US Capitol. Republicans in the state are appealing the ruling on the basis that Trump has not been convicted of insurrection. On the same day as the announcement in Maine, California took the opposite decision. The Secretary of State in California finalized the list of candidates for the ballot, which included Donald Trump. Meanwhile, his rival for the Republican candidacy, Nikki Haley, has backpedaled comments she made about the country's civil war. The former ambassador to the United Nations, whose parents are from India, was campaigning in the state of New Hampshire in a bid to become the Republican Party's nominee for next year's election. But she faced criticism at an event there for refusing to say that the war fought in the 1860s was a battle over slavery. She has since clarified that it was indeed a cause. DD India's Benji Hire reports from Washington, D.C.
It's a row that's engulfed political discourse here this week. Asked what triggered the war that split America, Nikki Haley omitted the word slavery from her answer, a choice that, quote, astonished the voter who posed the question to her. Startled, she claimed the Civil War, during which her home state of South Carolina was the first to secede, was fought on freedom and the role of government. President Joe Biden, who she's trying to replace in the White House, said plainly it was about slavery. It is widely recognised that a principal cause of the war was a dispute over whether slavery should be permitted. As she aims to appeal to more moderate wings of the Republican Party base and also present herself as someone with convictions, Haley's wording of late could end up tainting her image. Now, following backlash, she did row back on her remarks on Thursday, admitting that slavery was indeed a factor. Yet the damage was done and seized upon by her political opponents at a crucial time in the campaign. You see, in the coming weeks, they'll face their first major test. The primary season kicks off to decide which candidate will take on Joe Biden for the Oval Office. Haley and other rivals in the race still trail former President Donald Trump by a wide margin. She and they cannot afford to make mistakes. In Washington, Benji Hire for DD India.
United Nations Secretary General Antonio Gutteres delivered his New Year's address in a pre-recorded speech. The UN chief talked about the outgoing year and its shortcomings while evoking hope for the year to come.
2023 has been a year of enormous suffering, violence and climate chaos. Humanity is in pain. Our planet is in peril. 2023 is the hottest year on record. People are getting crushed by growing poverty and hunger. Wars are growing in number and ferocity, and trust is in short supply. But pointing fingers and pointing guns lead nowhere. Humanity is strongest when we stand together. 2024 must be a year for rebuilding trust and restoring hope. We must come together across divides for shared solutions, for climate action, for economic opportunity and a fairer global financial system that delivers for all. Together we must stand up against the discrimination and hatred that are poisoning relations between countries and communities. And we must make sure new technologies, such as artificial intelligence, are a force for good. The United Nations will keep rallying the world for peace, sustainable development and human rights. Let us resolve to make 2024 a year of building trust and hope in all that we can accomplish together. I wish you a happy and peaceful new year.
As many people around the world ring in the festive season, several places have been faced with extreme weather. With record low temperatures in some areas, heat waves, floods and bushfires in others, countries from north to south are witnessing extreme conditions.
The United Kingdom saw heavy damage as Storm Gutteres brought strong winds on Thursday. The storm also caused travel disruption. The UK's Meteorological Office is forecasting more heavy rain to come this weekend, followed by snow. In the United States, California is hit by storms, triggering massive waves of 28 to 33 feet on its coast on Friday. Flooding has led to evacuation orders in several areas of Northern California. Meteorologists have warned that worse is yet to come. South America's Peru is also ravaged by floods following heavy rains in the northeastern region of Loreto. Australia is battling twin troubles. The country's north and west is bracing for intense heat wave, prompting authorities to raise bushfire risks, with several regions under total fire bans. Severe storms in the east has already left 10 people dead, and thunderstorms are expected to redevelop. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, floods and landslides caused by torrential rain has killed at least 40 people. According to UN climate experts, extreme rainfall is becoming more intense and frequent in Africa due to warming temperatures. Following weeks of record low sub-freezing temperatures, heavy fog and haze shrouded areas in China's Shanghai on Friday. The Central Meteorological Observatory issued its first red alert for fog since 2017.
In Budapest, the river Danube has surged over its banks, reaching its highest water levels in a decade. Heavy rain and snow, followed by mild weather, have triggered this early winter flooding, raising concerns about the impact of climate change. DD India's Pablo Gutteres is in Budapest with the latest.
Budapest have declared a state of emergency after the water here in the Danube rose to its highest level since the devastating floods of 2013. As you can see, there is the Hungarian parliament. We are in the lower quay. The water has completely surpassed it, and it's flooded this street, which at this time would be typically filled with cars. Let me show you what's happening on this side. Authorities tell us that they have strengthened their defenses and activated emergency services to help if needed. The rising water is a big danger to properties by the river, so officials are advising residents to be careful and stay away from these areas. However, as you can see here, there are many onlookers at this moment. Now, the water peaked at around 6.93 meters. This is well below the water level that it reached 10 years ago when it was 8.91 meters. Now, there hasn't been any damages reported to the authorities here in Budapest. Pablo Gutteres, DD India.
That's it from me here in London. Back to you in the studio.
Thank you so much, Julia. My colleague Julia Chapman joining me from London. Staying with weather-related news, back in India, a thick blanket of fog enveloped several parts of the north as cold weather conditions continued to prevail. Dense fog was seen in isolated pockets of Jammu and Kashmir and Punjab, Haryana and western Rajasthan. Shallow to moderate fog was reported in Madhya Pradesh, Jharkhand, Odisha and Bihar. The India Meteorological Department has predicted dense to very dense fog conditions will remain across North Indian states for the next 2 days. Moreover, a rare red warning for dense fog in India's northern states of Punjab, Delhi and Haryana was issued by the Weather Department today, the highest level of alert seldom utilized. DD India's Tapas Bhattacharya reports.
A thick layer of fog engulfed the national capital yet again on Friday morning, impacting the flights and train operations. As per the latest update by the Northern Railways, several trains, including the Rajdhani Express on Delhi-Howrah route, are running late. Many flights have also been delayed due to fog, which has resulted in low visibility in Delhi and surrounding areas. A red alert has been issued for dense fog in Delhi, Punjab and Haryana today, while an orange alert has been issued in these states for tomorrow. As per Indian Meteorological Department, it has predicted that dense to very dense fog conditions are very likely to continue in many parts of Punjab, Haryana, Chandigarh, Delhi and some parts of Uttar Pradesh till the morning of December 30th and in some parts for subsequent 3 to 4 days. With camera person Naveen, this is Tapas Bhattacharya reporting for DD India from Delhi.
You're watching DD India Global, still to come on the show. India will overtake Japan and Germany as the world's third largest economy by 2032, according to the latest report by the Center for Economics and Business Research. And Dubai transforms into a winter wonderland ahead of the New Year celebrations.
From the much-anticipated Chandrayaan-3 mission to the transformative impact of AI, India's radiant venture into solar exploration by ISRO. Prepare for an out-of-this-world experience with its seamless transactions. It has transformed the way Indians transact.
Watch Echoes 2023 rocketing ahead at this time on DD India.
Welcome back. You're watching DD India Global. I am Tanvi Taneja. India's Ministry of External Affairs spokesperson Arindam Bagchi at a press conference today spoke on the Qatar court commuting the death sentence of 8 Indians. He stressed that the interests of their family members is the government of India's foremost concern.
We have issued a detailed press release yesterday on this. You would have seen this. For the moment, I don't have any additional information to share till we see the judgment, or the legal team gets to see the detailed judgment. Let me also emphasize, as I have been doing, and you've all been very patient on that, the confidential and the sensitive nature of the case. We will also, of course, be discussing the next possible steps with legal team and the family members.
The spokesperson of the Ministry of External Affairs of India reiterated that mainstreaming of radical outfits in Pakistan is nothing new and that India will continue to monitor elements for national security.
Issue of radical elements being normalized and participate in elections is something perhaps I should comment on. We have seen some reports in this regard. It is an internal affair, so let me not comment on it. But the mainstreaming of radical terrorist outfits in Pakistan is nothing new. On our part, we will, of course, continue to monitor all developments that have an implication on our national security. He is also a UN-proscribed terrorist. In this regard, we have conveyed a request, along with relevant supporting documents, to the government of India to extradite him, government of Pakistan, to extradite him to India to face trial in a particular case. I think that is what you were referring to. So yes, we have, of course, been flagging the issue of activities that he's been wanted for. In this case, you specifically mentioned whether we wanted to extradite him. Yes, there has been a request sent.
Speaking on the upcoming elections in Bangladesh, the spokesperson stressed that India's position has been consistent and that India would like to see peaceful and fair elections in Bangladesh.
Our position on this has been consistent. I think we've said before, the elections are a domestic matter of Bangladesh, and we believe that it is for the people of Bangladesh to decide their own future. And as a close and friend and partner of Bangladesh, we would like to see peaceful elections there, and we will continue to support Bangladesh's vision of a stable, peaceful and progressive nation.
Next, India's outreach campaign, Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra, is being undertaken across the country. The aim is to attain saturation of flagship schemes of the Government of India by ensuring that the benefits of these schemes reach all targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. In this series, a grand Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra was organised at Panchayat Rari Block, Ramgarh of Samba district in the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir. The people of Rari welcomed the IEC van with enthusiasm and participated in various activities. They listened to Prime Minister Narendra Modi's message with keen interest and took part in the Sankalp Pledge, committing themselves to the vision of a developed and prosperous India. The stalls for on-the-spot services provided health camps, blood donation camps, eye checkups and other facilities to the people. According to the latest World Economic League table report by the Centre for Economics and Business Research, India is on track to becoming the world's largest economic superpower by 2080, surpassing both China and the United States. By the year 2032, India will overtake Japan and Germany as the world's third largest economy. By 2080, its GDP is expected to exceed China's by 90% and that of the USA by 30%. India's growth is fueled by key factors like political stability, large and youthful population, dynamic entrepreneurial sector, and the increasing global economic integration. And talking of India's growth journey, its stock market indices, the Sensex and the Nifty ended lower in the last session of the year 2023. Sensex was down 170 points, closing at 72,240, and Nifty 50 was down 47 points to end the day and the year at 21,731. But both indices finished 2023 on an upbeat note as the benchmark indices Nifty 50 and the Sensex at the BSE hovered near all-time highs, gaining 20% and 18% respectively through the year. Key Asian stock markets also fell on the last trading day of the year 2023, with China stocks being the sole exception as the country's tech companies continued their advance. So Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index dipped 0.2%, while China's Shanghai Composite Index closed 0.5% higher. Japan's Nikkei 225 Index ended down 0.2%, but wrapped up the year with gains of over 28%, making it Asia's top-performing market. This also made Japanese shares end with their biggest annual gain in a decade on Friday. Now we take a look at what else is happening around the world. Spanish Prime Minister Pedro Sanchez on Friday named Carlos Cuerpo as the new Economy and Trade Minister, replacing Nadia Calvino. The 43-year-old, who until now headed the Treasury Department, will head the European Investment Bank. Cuerpo is set to be sworn in by King Felipe later on Friday. Grieving family, friends and industry colleagues gathered to bid their last goodbyes to South Korean actor Lee Sun-kyun at his funeral on Friday. The 48-year-old actor, who played the wealthy patriarch in the Oscar-winning film Parasite, was found dead in a car at a park in Seoul on Wednesday. The US military's secretive X-37B robot space plane carrying classified experiments lifted off atop a SpaceX Falcon Heavy rocket from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in Florida Thursday night. This marks its 7th mission after weeks of delays, potentially reaching higher orbits than ever before. A procession for a couple's wedding in Cuba was a sight to behold as residents opted for electric motorcycles and scooters amid an economic crisis in the country that has paralyzed public transport, sent taxi prices through the roof, and has led to long queues to buy gasoline. And Dubai transforms into a winter wonderland ahead of 2024 New Year celebrations. The city has once again embraced the holiday spirit with the revival of its captivating Winter City at the Expo City Dubai from December 15th to January 7th next year. The Winter City resonates with live music as carolers serenade visitors and festive tunes permeate the air. The entertainment lineup includes live shows and theatrical performances catering to diverse tastes. That's it in this edition of DD India Global. Do join us for another edition of the show at 7:30 p.m. IST. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and Instagram. Find us online at ddindia.co.in as well. We will be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I am Tanvi Taneja. From all of us here in New Delhi, thank you for watching. Namaskar.